So we'll start with application characteristics now. What exactly is application characteristics? So based on the purpose of the application, it has a particular characteristics. Application characteristics are typically like it's documented in your SRS, that is the system requirement specification document, okay, and it forms the basis of the non-functional requirements or non-functional testing of the application. Now there are a number of types of application characteristics, firstly being UI critical application, okay. Then next is end user application or end user category. Next is global usage application. Which is performance critical application. And the last one is sensitive data handling. Sensitive data handling application. Okay, so let's quickly go through this application. Okay, so firstly, UI critical application means application whose UI is very important component of that application. Okay, now for example, if you see games, okay, the UI is very important. Okay, if it is not properly displayed, the user may completely not use the application itself. Okay, so those applications are called as UI critical applications. Okay, now the next is end user categories. Okay, now application is developed in such a manner that different kinds of user can use it. Okay, now what that means is that a technical expert user can use it, a regular business user can use it, a completely new user can use it, a novice user can use it, okay, and probably maybe a person with some disability can also use it. Okay, so that is called as end user category application. Now let's take an example of Facebook itself. Okay, now we are all like we are educated people, so we can say that we are a technical user of Facebook. Okay, now in this case the regular business user means what? The people who are using Facebook page and they are promoting through the Facebook ads and everything. Okay, now that is a business user. Okay, a novice user means probably your parents or something who is totally new to the application. Okay, so that's a novice user. Okay, and a people with disability also can use Facebook. Okay, why? Because there are some voice commands that can be used. Okay, or for example ATM, you have some headphones and everything, so people who cannot hear or you cannot speak, they can also use the application. So this is actually end user category application. Okay, now the next is a global usage. Global usage is nothing but application which are used globally. Okay, again the same application Facebook. Now the basic barrier of making an application global is obviously the language barrier. Okay, now applications which are developed in different languages can be said as a global application. Okay, now Google is there, Facebook is there, these applications are available in different languages. Okay, yes. Now the next is performance critical application. Now which means that for some application there is a need of immediate reaction for user action. Okay, now what does this means is that let's say if some people are using the share trading applications. Okay, now these are very important applications wherein whenever the user purchases or sell a particular share or a stock, okay, now there has to be immediate reaction from the application. Okay, if it takes some time, that may cause some huge losses. Okay, or banking application for that matters. These applications are performance critical application where the performance of the application is very important. Okay, and the last one is obviously sensitive data handling application. Okay, the application which are storing some sensitive data, okay, should be secure. Okay, those applications are called as sensitive data handling application. Again, the same application or a banking details, okay, very critical application. Okay, so these applications are sensitive data handling application. Okay, so these are some 4-5 application characteristics which forms the non-functional testing requirements of the application. Okay, now let us go through domain. Okay, now what is a domain? First of all, you must have heard the .com domain, but that is not the domain that we are talking here about. Domain is nothing but a business area or a field to which an application belongs. Okay, so for example, you must have heard people saying that I am working in a banking domain, I am working in an e-commerce domain, I am working in a telecom domain. Okay, so that means is that they are working on an application which belongs to a particular field of work. Okay, a banking field, telecom field. Okay, now there are two types of domains. Okay, firstly being industrial domain. Okay, and the second is enterprise business process domain. Enterprise business process domain. Okay. Now, industrial domains is nothing but the application which are used for a particular industry. Okay. Now, like for example, now a banking application used only in banks. Okay, a telecom application used only in telecom industry. A e-commerce application where you can sell and purchase of goods used only for a particular industry. It cannot be used across industries, so that is called as an industrial application. Okay, and the application which can be used across industry, so no matter whichever industry it is, you can use that application. Those applications are called as enterprise business process domain application. For example, you may have an HRM application, a human resource management application. Okay, now HR application can be used across industries because you have to manage people, their salaries, their leave applications, and there are a number of stuff that it manages. Okay, so can be used across industries, or it is independent of industries. Customer relationship management application where you can register your complaints. Okay, there can be some ticket raised. Okay, so these application can be used across industries. Okay, so it is called as enterprise business process domain application. Right, we'll move to the next topic, that is the architecture. Okay, now architecture is, there are different 3 types of architecture that you all must have studied. Okay, so the first architecture is a desktop application. Okay, second is obviously the client server application. Okay. The third one is web-based or 3-tier application, so web application. Okay, and the last one nowadays, it is actually mobile applications. Okay. So desktop application is nothing but when all the components of the application are installed in a single machine. Okay, that is called as a desktop application. Only a single user can use the application, this desktop application, at a time. So obviously your Microsoft Office or your Paint are the examples of desktop application. The next is a client server application. Okay, so all component of the desktop application are installed in a single machine, but that is not the case with client server application. desktop applications are not suitable for some complex business logic, and for the same purpose we use a client and server architecture. Okay, the program that send request is called as a client, and the program can serve request is called as a server. Communication between client and the server is managed through obviously a LAN protocol, so it has to have a wired connection. Okay, now this client server application is suitable for a limited space where you can have a LAN connection, but for a global applications where there should not be any geographical constraints, you cannot use client and server application. So that is the reason why we move to a web-based application or a three-tier application. So there is a client, there is a server, okay, and then there is a web server in web application. So all your what do you call web browsers are Google Chrome, Firefox and everything, okay, and the application that can be accessed through this browsers, okay, those are actually web application. Now web browser is not a web application. Web browser is actually a desktop application because all the components of a browser is installed in desktop, okay, in a single machine, but the application which you can access through web browsers is actually a web application. Okay, and the last one is mobile applications. So obviously whatever application that you access through your mobile phones is actually mobile applications. Again, it can be categorized into a couple of categories of mobile applications. The first being the standalone application. So similar to desktop application, when all the components of an application resides in a single mobile, okay, that is called as a standalone mobile application. Then an enterprise application. So the web-based application used in enterprises are also made available for use via cell phone by developing a client for mobile usage. Okay, now that is called as an enterprise application. And an website, the third one is the website. The website used via computers are converted into mobile application. These can be accessed not via browsers but a native app. Okay, so your Android apps and everything, you can use that particular web-based application through a particular app. Okay, so this is actually the architecture part. Okay, the next topic is application service model. Okay, so what is the application service model? Okay, application service model defines how the application is treated during its development and testing phase. Okay, now there are 4 different categories of service models. Firstly, product. Then you have a project. Then there are enhancements. Then there is customization of codes. Now what is codes? I will explain you in detail. And the last one is re-engineering. Okay. Now what is a product? Now you all must have heard people saying, you know, I am working in a product based company, I am working in a service based company. You know, what exactly is the difference? Okay. Now the best example of product based company is your Microsoft. Okay, so Microsoft has a number of products, your Windows, your Office 365, your Microsoft Office. Okay, all these are Microsoft products. Okay, now the person working in a particular company which actually are manufacturing or developing a product, okay, that is called as a product based company. Now what is a product first? Now product is nothing but an application which is going to offer same standard set of functionality for different customers. Okay, now you cannot ask the company that, okay, I want this functionality, can you just edit it for me or not? Okay, now that cannot be done in a product based company. But if it is a project where you as a user, you as a customer, okay, you go to a company and say these are the features that I want in a project, okay, then that can be called as a project. Okay, understood? Now the main difference between the product and a project is how you gather the requirements. For product, basically the requirements is gathered through market surveys, and in projects the requirement is given by the customer or the client. Okay, so that justifies the definition that the service model is nothing but how you treat the application in its development or testing phase. Okay, the next one is enhancement. Enhancements are nothing but there is an existing project which is completed and you are just going to enhance it by adding a few features to it. Okay, now that is called as an enhancement. The next one is customization of COTS. Now firstly, what is a COTS? COTS is nothing but a commercial off the shelf product. Okay, now what does that mean? Nowadays there are n number of products which are already ready, which are open source maybe. So it's there somewhere in the cloud or a web. Okay, so it's there on the shelf. Consider that as a shelf. Okay, now what companies or people do is that they'll pick up this product which is on the shelf, okay, and they will customize it according to the customer's need. Okay, so that is called as customization of COTS. Okay, and the last one is re-engineering. Re-engineering is nothing but you redevelop an existing product or a project, okay, which is developed in some earlier older technology with some new technology. That is called as re-engineering. I hope this is clear. We'll move to the next topic, that is application categories. Okay, now application categories, there are two types of categories. Firstly, system software, and the next one is application software. Okay. Now system software is nothing but the software which manages the computer resources and helps to run a computer. Okay, so basically your operating systems, your compilers is called as an system software. Okay, and application software is nothing but the software which helps you to perform some specific task. Okay, your spreadsheets is there, your games are there, a paint is there, a calculator is there. They are performing some particular specific task assigned to them. Okay, now that is called as an application software. I hope this is clear. So we'll move to the next topic, that is application users. Okay, now there are three types of application users. Okay, firstly, business user. Okay, the next one is community user. Okay, and the last ones are technical users. Now, while you're developing a application, your user expectations are very important. Okay, so depending upon every user's expectation, you have to prepare an application so that you satisfy the user experience. Okay, now what are these business users, community user and technical users? Now business user is nothing but the person or the users who is actually using that particular application for his business purpose. Okay, now if there is a ticket booking site, okay, let's assume a bus ticket booking site or a movie booking ticket site. Okay, now the theater owners or the bus owners, okay, they are using the application so that they can get people to book a ticket. Okay, so they are using it for a business purpose. Okay, now community user is nothing but like you and me who are using the application. Let's say if I am booking a ticket, so I am using the application, so I am a community user. Okay, and the last one is a technical user. So technical user is nothing but the developers, the testers who are actually working on that particular application, so they are technically sound users. Okay, I hope this is clear. So we have done with the first topic. Okay, let us just go through quickly. So what are the different topics that we have covered? Okay, so firstly the definition part, then there are a number of components that we have gone through. Okay, then we studied the different characteristics. I hope it is clear. Then we studied the domain part, the industrial and the enterprise business process domain. Okay, then we studied architecture in brief. Then we studied different service models. Okay, the application categories and application users. So this is all brief things that we have studied. Okay, I'm actually also trying this new application. Okay, so I'm trying to use this backgrounds and everything. I hope you like it. Okay, yes, so this is the first chapter. We'll continue with the next chapter in the next video. Okay, if you have liked this video, please do share and comment and subscribe to this channel. Okay, also please press the bell icon so that you can give the notification for your next video. Okay, thank you.